worried about that bottle of port at Ian's. Oh, gee, I just hope they get through this performance well and it all turns out okay, but I have the sense of impending doom there. Roy, listen, I think I speak on behalf of most Australians. No, as you were, my very good friends, I speak on behalf of most people living in the world when I say I'm a Bathurst freak. I love Mount Panorama on that first day after you mothball the football season. Sunday at dawn's a beautiful day. Obviously fantastic to be outside, but I don't want to be there. I want to be inside. I want to be sitting on the lounge. I want to have the feet up on the settee. I want to have a large one handy and a side of beef there just broiling on the barbecue, because I love sitting there and looking at cars go up and down the mountain, just rotating at speed, scraping the door handles off. It's a tremendous sight. It is part of Australian culture. It is part of the renaissance of Australian culture, and it's been flowering for all these years. Holden's v Fords, the battle goes on. It's the same story writ large with the Perk and Brocky and all the others up there. Why, what brings you to Bathurst every year?
Well, let's have a look at a little bit of footage, actually, and I think you can see why I keep going back to Bathurst. It's always so exciting.
Yes.
Look at the danger here. I mean, look at that bloke.
He's excited.
I think you described him as the invisible man, yes.
Did you cop a geek at his trouser?
I did. Look, and why wouldn't you be excited? But HG, to my mind, it never looks fast enough on television.
Yes.
So I'd like it to look like this.
Well, this is what it's really like.
This is what it's like. This is what I want to see.
And look at the invisible man. He moves at the same pace.
That's right. This I could watch for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Because it's exciting.
Yes. Roy, I think this year the joy of Bathurst was marred for a number of people who go up there. Let's face it, I go up very early. I pitch a tent if I'm not watching it at home, and I love to see people being that little bit stupid at Bathurst. And this year there were a lot of rowdy stoats at Bathurst who brought along old cars, bombs, derelict things they found along the road. They got them going again and started doing brownouts and burnouts and all this sort of stuff and running them over tents and people in sleeping bags and stuff like this. And it did ruin it. It did ruin it somewhat for not only the St John's ambulance men and the Bathurst area hospital, but also it did take the gloss off it for a number of people who go there to sit in their banana lounges and watch cars go round, as we noticed. Roy, what can be done? How can we uncork this rowdy stoatism and put it to good use? Like, I've got a suggestion was, obviously Bathurst gets underway about 8 in the morning. I'd love to see from sunrise to about 5 to 8 a purse put on by the Roads and Traffic Authority of, say, not a lot of money, say $1,500, for all comers to have a go with whatever they brought up there. You know, it could be a go-kart, could be a prime mover, could be a ute, could be a stock car, could be a TQ, could be a sidecar, could be a Vespa, yes, or for those who know their cars, it could be a Lightburn Zeta if they wanted to bring something that classic along. Could be a Cedric, for God's sake. Now, Roy, could that work? Could that uncork the problem of rowdy stoatism that we've got at Bathurst at the moment?
Yes. I think it could. If I can just get back to your earlier point, Aisha, what does it mean to me? In the old days, the Bathurst 500 really meant something. Cars used to be divided into classes, A, B, C and D. And your own car, your family car, the car that you had in your family would be represented out there. You'd have your Valiants, you'd have your Monaros, you'd have your Mazdas, you'd have your Datsun 180Bs, and they were all there. Every brand was there. And at the end of the day, when you saw a class winner, say the Valiant 1 C class it might have been, you'd go around the streets after the race and you'd see kiddies out there washing their Valiants, washing
grins on their
with faces, a bit of pride in their own vehicle. And I love that. But to my mind, they never quite went far enough with it, HG. I would have liked to have seen, not souped-up cars, I want to see cars taken out of showrooms on the morning of the event. Just burst into a showroom anywhere in the country, fly the car there, sit the car on the grid, just out of the showroom, nothing souped up, nothing fancy about it, and you have your series of drivers sitting on chairs near the cars, and then you draw out of a hat, say, M. Scaife, Simca. Off he goes. P. Brock, Peugeot. They go into the car, then off you go, and then you'd have a fair representation of what cars are worthwhile buying in this bloody country. As well as that, to get involved. To get to your second point, HG, how you can get people involved.
Yes.
I'd like to see kiddies.
Oh, yes. Well,
Families donate their kiddies to sit in the back seat with the driver.
That would be a tremendous sight.
It'd be a different sort of event. You'd see very interesting driving, I think, and very interesting risk. You'd see realistic driving! Because I think that's what people want to see, HG, and I think you'd see less hoonism. Not that I'm against it. I love thrashing cars, don't get me wrong. I love driving cars dangerously, especially if they belong to Dad. But by and large, that would be the way I'd fix up Bathurst, because it's dying.
Roy, the other thing, of course, as you point out, is that at the moment they've removed all what we call the slower models off the roads, unlike realistic driving, and just let the grunt cars out there. You know, and so we come to this question which I raised a little while ago concerning Holden and Ford. Now, when I look back through Bathurst, it's always been a saga of Holden and Fords, and the world was divided, the street was divided, the house was divided between those who supported the Holden and those who supported the Ford. And this is going to go on and on and on into the future, Roy. Yes. Into the future, Roy. You know, where do you stand 1995 on the 6th of October? What is the mind of Roy Slaven, that great football mind, thinking vis-a-vis Holden and Ford?
I'd like to see them, each of them, produce just one car.
Yes.
Say 38 or 40 cylinders. A really big bloody car. A beauty, maybe 50, 60, bloody, I was going to say kilometres, maybe metres is more realistic long. A car with a bloody grunt. Then we'd see which would be the best.
Yes. Well, that is an exciting prospect. It bears thinking about, doesn't it? And I lay down this challenge here that I'll drive one and Roy can drive the other. That's Bathurst 1996. We've got it bottled up and ready to savour. But, ladies and gentlemen, a woman who's been a petrol